Okay, this is Ehringer-Begin, and I am creating a video to help show teachers how to utilize planbook.com for the first time and to set up their account. So the first thing that you do is you want to click on create a new account. You want to use an email address that you will be using regularly. I already have one set up through my account at school, so I'm going to make up one just for my home email address so that I can show you what it's like to set up a brand new one. But use whatever you want and just register. Okay, so the first thing that comes up is the basic information that it wants to know from you. I do not get any email from these people, so that's really not a problem. They will not send you a bunch of spam or anything like that. It's not wasting your time. It's just something that they need, I guess, in order to fill in later. The other thing that you want to know while I'm filling this out is that the fee for this is really, really, really minimal. It's $12 a year. I have not used it more than 1 year, but I'm going to assume that I'm going to have access from each and every year. I'm hoping that I can go back and look at it from year to year and refer back to my lesson plans. Let's see. So if I were teaching, say, computers or technology, that's what I'm going to put. Although yours might be different. I do not have a promotional code because I haven't got anything for it, so I just continue. All right, and then it gives you kind of step-by-step things to do. Great job, create a lesson, click on a new class name to create additional classes, click go to classes and add class. I will show you all that as we go in. So right now this is the only class that it shows. However, as we all know, there's several things that we do. We don't just do that. Mine is I'm going to have to add some classes, go to classes. So there you go. I teach technology, of course, but that's like every day. So if I were teaching, say, second grade, they would teach kindergarten, but you guys might be reading math, social studies, science, and it'll tell you what time you teach it. Now at my school, kindergarten is not always at the same time. Well, I mean it is, but each day it might be different. So if kindergarten is every day from 9:30 to, it's 40 minutes. I'll put 40 minutes right there and I select that time. So it's going to tell me that, and it will apply for every day. So 9:40 every day. I'm going to put that in, but I'm going to pause. What I just saw is that I could change my end time. The end time is 40 minutes later, so that would be 9 or 10. And then if I hit copy, it'll go for all week. So let's watch me do that one more time so that you get it right. If I were doing an additional class for first grade hypothetically is going to be right after the end, 5 minutes after, so it would be 10:15, I believe, if I'm correct, 10:15, and then it would last for 40 minutes, so that would go from 10:15 to 10:55, and then if I hit copy, it will go all the way. Okay, so now I've put all of my classes in and included my planning for the year. If you met classes on different days, you can uncheck which days that you don't meet with them. This is your tools. So if you wanted to edit or import or export or get rid of, import means you would be bringing another thing in. I haven't messed much with that yet, but I have a feeling that that has to do with one plan book to the other. But I haven't found that to have been very successful. So if something I did on mine, let's get out of there. Something I did on mine is I changed the colors so that I could see what color quickly. So you might change the colors for each one so that they are different colors. And again, that's kind of just a personal thing. If you don't really care and it's easy for you to read one way or the other, then just go for that. Okay, so once you've got all your classes put in, you click over to Go To, and you'll go to your plans. Plans has to do with what you're teaching. And see, I have two colors that are close to each other, and that kind of would bother me. But since this is just informational purposes, then we will not worry about that one. Okay, I just paused you to fix. I had my times set up a little strange. When you get into your plan book, if you do not have all the colors the same in the line, like so, then you have messed something up and you'll need to go back and check to make sure that your times are all the same for every day. Okay, so if I were to go in and start planning, there's a couple things that you need to know. All you'll need to do is click on, say, kindergarten. If I'm teaching kindergarten that day, or if I'm coming up with the lesson plans for kindergarten that day, I will come in and I will start teaching kindergarten. So kindergartners are still learning how to learn their ABC. So I will put things in like introduce students to Starfall.com. Now that will be a link so that when people view it later, they can click on it and it should take you right there. So you'll type in your lessons. If you want to put homework, click there. You tell it which homework you want it to be. If you have any notes, say for example a kid has head lice or has something that you specifically need to know. Somebody is added during that class. You have an assistant during that period to make sure you have these materials. That is where you can put that right here. What I love is that you have standards right here and that you can go into what your standards are. So if I'm teaching reading foundational skills, I can go to fluent phonics and word recognition. So I can click that right there. If I'm doing more than one, hold the control button and click the other one as well and hit apply. And then they'll both go on there. You hit apply and then it goes right in there. If you are doing that all week or if you're doing that for more than one day, go back in here and you can tell it to extend. Extend it 2 days. Hit apply. Okay, let's try it again. 2 days. Hit extend first. And then it will tell you, that's the 2 days. If you're just extending it 1 day, it would be 1 day to right there. The other thing, let's say I'm teaching 3rd graders how to do line plots. If I type in my lesson as I would normally, and then if I have something that I have created that I would like to have other teachers to have access to. So I would go to add attachment. I would select the thing that I was teaching. Say, for example, math is what I was doing. Maybe we were doing thirds partitioning. Okay, so I would attach it, and there it is. So when I hit apply, it's added right there. And all they'd have to do is click on it and it would go. The other thing, you can add an event. So if you have one of those IEP meetings, then right here, tell it what day that you have the IEP meeting. Say I have it tomorrow. You tell it the time. It's at 1:10. And I'm not sure what time it ends, so I will fake it and say it is 1:50. Select the time. Say IEP meeting for FD. You know that you cannot use students' actual names, especially on anything that anybody else would be needing, so you want to definitely just use their initials. That is a confidentiality. So hit apply. Okay, the other thing that it said on there, at an event, it had no school day that day. If you don't have any school that day, then the lessons will skip that day. So those days throughout the year that we don't have school, Martin Luther King, various things, you go ahead and tell at the beginning of the year there's no school that day. Private event, this means that it won't show when the parents go to view it. So get out of there. This shows you the items. So if you just want to look at one thing, or if you don't want to put those, then don't put those. This changes your week. If you want to change it to the month view, it'll only do one class at a time. You could also list. I have not had any use for that so far. Go to is if you were just going to look at events that were going on. So see, there's the event that I have. If you are doing, go to standards, then you can see what standards it is and when you taught them. School year, that tells you when the school year is, that's beginning. Sharing. This is when you want to have other teachers import your lessons into their plan books. That has not been successful. I would not suggest using that, but you can do more research if you want to. The one time I did try to do that, it kind of messed some things up, so I'm not using that. However, I do use a student key, and that means that I can share this with the parents. So if I put 0513 as my student key, they have access to all of these things, and I might just put this. Sometimes I don't put events because that's the confidentiality things that they don't need to know. So hit apply, and then I showed you most of it. You'll want to come back and review. This takes you to toggle the weeks back and forth. But the best way that I can show you this sort of thing is to go to what I currently use. This is my lesson plans as it stands right now. And if I wanted to go back and forth a few weeks, then I can go back and see what I have on those notes. Let's see. Okay, the other thing that I want to show you that's very important, at least to administrators, if they do not feel confident enough logging on and viewing your lesson plans, also because at the end of the year you need to turn in an actual hard copy of your lesson plans for record keeping. In order to print, it's really not that difficult. You're going to go again to More. You're going to go Print to PDF. You're going to choose which way you want to see it. I kind of like it one page, and I like it portrait just because that's normal. You can choose the range that you wanted it printed. If you wanted to do the whole year at the end of the year, that's fine. But our principal picks it up a couple times a year. So then I hit OK, and it's going to ask me, do I want to open or save it? And I always save it because I want to have it in the background. So then I hit open. And then I'm going to save it again. Hoping I have enough time. Okay, so that is how it's going to print out. It is several pages. It's 4 pages, as you can see, but that's okay because really I leave mine up all day and then I can just flip through it throughout the day. I will hit Save As, PDF, and then you choose the file where you want to put it. Mine is in my libraries. For my 2nd grade libraries, and then it says lesson plans, and I date it correctly with the year first and then the month. So this would be 4 and then the week is 8. That's just so that it comes up the way that I particularly like it. Okay, the last thing I want to show you is how you can share with your parents. If you want to share your lesson plans with teachers, you just send home something telling them that that's how you do it. This is the one that I made up for you. Oops. And I used my password, and that was where that key came up so that it can show. So these are the ones that we came up with together. All in all, it's not a difficult thing to use, and I love the fact that the standards are right there. Administrators tend to like that as well because it shows everything that you've covered, and anybody that you're sharing with has access to the same digital materials that you may use. In this day of technology, it is very helpful because only one person has to do the work, and then it can be shared among 5 or 6 people. It's, taking a village to do it. So I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, email me at maria.begin@jefferson.kyschools.us, and I'll be glad to answer any questions. Thank you very much, and I hope it was helpful.